Welcome to 13 News Now.
Good evening and thanks so much for joining us. I am Jennifer Abney in tonight on 13 News Now for Aaron Noon, who has the evening off. And we are coming to you live, of course, every weeknight right here at 9 p.m. from our digital desk at the WOWK-TV studios in Charleston, West Virginia. And let's take a look at some of the stories making news today. First up, Jackson County, one of the areas here in the Mountain State that saw a huge surge in positive COVID-19 cases. That was at the beginning of the pandemic. Almost exactly 2 months have gone by since we visited Jackson County General Hospital and talked to them about the surge they were experiencing. 13 News reporter Cassidy Wood went back today to find out what the hospital looks like now.
We do have a number of positive cases in Jackson County.
That was almost exactly 2 months ago when an outbreak of COVID-19 happened in several nursing homes throughout Jackson County. The hospital was forced to set up a tent in front of its emergency room and get extra resources to help contain the spread. It worked for the most part, but not always.
We have had some people in the county pass at the nursing home and a few in the community. Some have been my patients. It's been tough to see the illness and the sickness.
Dr. John Snyder has worked for Jackson General for 24 years. He's also the health officer for the Jackson County Health Department.
We are testing people through the practitioners' offices and through local clinics. I don't believe we're using the tent anymore.
Things have now started to calm down a little bit.
Everything's been fairly well controlled.
2 months later, and even though things have calmed down since the beginning of the pandemic, doctors here at Jackson General are still preparing just in case.
We don't know what's going to happen as far as COVID for sure, but right now, like I say, much of our surge was at the nursing homes, and that's been fairly well controlled.
And even though the future of this virus is uncertain, he says they're ready for whatever comes.
It's been so unpredictable. You know, I would not have expected us to have such a surge of cases in the state and in the country that we're having right now. I'm a little surprised, but I think we've done a great job through the hospital being prepared and doing everything we can.
In Jackson County, Cassidy Wood, 13 News, working for you.
Now, Dr. Snyder says if the county does start to see a surge again, they will certainly put that tent back up and bring back the resources immediately. Also, the Mountain State set a daily record for the number of COVID-19 deaths in a single day. State health officials reporting 2 new deaths this morning and 3 more this afternoon, bringing the total number for today, of course, up to 5. The total number of COVID-related deaths right now in the Mountain State stands at 111. In Sauter County, Ohio, they've also reported their first death from COVID-19. County Health Commissioner Dr. Michael Martin says the victim there, a 58-year-old man. Ohio Governor Mike DeWine says it appears the rise in new COVID-19 cases has plateaued there. DeWine says new data showing a slight dip in emergency room visits just in recent days. DeWine also announced that child care providers can return to normal statutory ratios and class sizes on August 9th. Requirements for face coverings, for symptom checks and temperature checks, as well as frequent cleaning, those all remain in effect. County fairs after July 31st will be limited to junior fair events only, meaning basically no events other than livestock competitions and other 4-H and FFA events. Students in Columbus, Ohio will start the new school year going completely virtual. The district announcing today classes will all be virtual through at least the first quarter of the school year and at least through the first intersession of the year-round school calendar. So that means students will be out of the traditional classrooms until at least October 26th or 27th, when the district transitions to in-person learning. A blended model, we're told, will be used. Well, we know that there are a lot of uncertainty these days about when and how schools will be reopening this fall, if at all in some cases, and 13 News is working for you by collecting all the reopening plans from school districts throughout our region. We've put it in one convenient location. Just head to WOWKTV.com, click on our community tab for the most recent list. And if your district has a reopening plan to share, we have contact information for you on the page as well. Well, part of Kentucky's judicial system is starting up again, but not everyone will be happy about it because the state Supreme Court says landlords can start asking the courts for the right to evict someone who hasn't paid rent. However, landlords must give that tenant 30 days notice before filing that eviction action. Also, the High Court says criminal jury trials may resume starting next week, but civil jury trials are still months away. The trials come on the condition that everyone in the courtroom wear masks, and the judges, they'll be held responsible if they don't. Well, this coming weekend, another impact of the COVID-19 pandemic is going to be felt because hundreds of families face the threat of having their water service shut off because they haven't had the money to pay their bills. 13 News reporter Natalie Wattis has been working for you, finding a way to help keep that from happening.
Everybody has bills to pay, and this is just a hard time for everybody. And we do have some understanding, but we do have a business to run here.
The period of pandemic forgiveness is over. Businesses are slowly reopening. Some people are returning to work, and water companies now say it's time to get back on track.
Business does need to go on. People do need to pay their bills.
So with the coming of August, the moratorium ends and terminations begin. Tuesday the 4th in the Putnam district, the 15th in Ironton. Thomas says even before the pandemic, there were quite a few in the community who had trouble meeting the cost.
We average probably 50 to 70 shutoffs a month, and we're a town of 10,000 plus people.
For Huffman, the average was around 100 shutoffs a month. Thomas is hopeful the numbers won't climb much higher, though.
I do believe that it's not going to be something that's unsightly. I think it'll be probably over normal, but I think it's workable.
If you want to keep your water flowing, utility companies say to call them about payment options. Most utilities offer either a promise to pay option or a deferred payment agreement. The first gives you a couple of extra days to get caught up. The other stretches out the money you owe over a longer period, as long as you keep current once the agreement is approved. All of the utilities in the region have a single piece of advice. If you are behind, call now. Don't wait.
There's always options. We want to stress that to our customers that, they do not need to be terminated.
Reporting in Huntington, I'm Natalie Wattis, 13 News, working for you.
Also this year, Marshall University Marathon will not be run due to the pandemic. The marathon does attract hundreds of runners from the tri-state and even from out of state. Organizers say they are currently offering refunds, though, to those runners who'd already paid their entry fee. And we have a full list of all canceled events throughout the tri-state right here on our website at WOWKTV.com. You'll find all of that under our community tab. Firefighters from Kanawha and Putnam counties battling a fire at a nitro crematorium this afternoon. The fire at Cook's Crematorium was contained to the facility's machinery. While there was no structural damage, the building's interior did suffer some smoke damage. The West Virginia State Fire Marshal was called to the scene. A tractor trailer and a barn fire brought traffic to a standstill on Route 35 in Mason County this morning. The driver of the truck noticed that the trailer with a load of paper goods was on fire, so he stopped and unhooked the trailer. The fire then spread to a nearby barn. Take a look at that. Wow. Both lanes of the highway were closed for hours while firefighters battled those flames. Ohio House Republican lawmakers met today to try to figure out what to do with Speaker Larry Householder after federal prosecutors charged him and 4 others in a bribery scheme. And a secret ballot, lawmakers voted to remove the disgraced House Speaker if he refuses to resign. The House will vote Thursday to expel Householder. He, of course, is accused of being part of an alleged $60 million pay-to-play scheme in exchange for passing legislation to bail out 2 nuclear power plants. Well, we want to take a look at what's trending right at this minute for you. All the stories that you can find on WOWKTV.com. First up, the second stimulus checks. Those could they actually be coming to you? Could be a while before you get that $1,200 payment. We are going to keep an eye on that for you, as well as essential service to end shutoff grace period grace period rather. We talked about that as well with your water service in certain areas, and also Quilt of Hope to help honor Cervical Health Awareness Month. You can find all these stories and so much more on our website at WOWKTV.com. Hey, we do have a traffic tie-up out there. We had a few showers move through as well. So, of course, the big question is, Spencer, could that possibly be a factor in this? And will we see any more tonight?
Yeah, that's what's weird about this one here. I don't think that the weather actually had much to do with this particular wreck that we're seeing right now. And usually this is a spot where you do see rain coming into play. Let's check this out. This is on Institute Hill. There you can see all the trucks that are stopped there. So this is going on as we speak right now, coming down the hill back into Charleston. So that's eastbound, and the trucks are stopped there. And some of them are getting off at Institute. Others are kind of inching through there. Both lanes are closed. And again, what's weird is that usually it's when it's raining, but just give you a little heads up there. Here we have on the Carter Bridge, Eugene Carter Bridge, Big Blue Bridge downtown in Charleston. You see lots of red lights. Little wreck up here. One lane is closed. Traffic going to the west is getting through those. So 2 traffic incidents going on right now. That's the now portion of the traffic update. Here's the now portion of the weather. 78 degrees in Charleston, 77 in Huntington. There are a few showers and storms, as Jennifer was talking about, but these are south for most of the area of I-64. There are 1 or 2 in the eastern portion of Kanawha County. These are drifting across Lincoln County, southern Wayne, now crossing in toward Breeden, West Virginia here in Mingo County. A couple of cells now entering the Johnson County, just the northern tip of Johnson County in eastern Kentucky. And we see again that we have, let's go west of Louisa, a couple of downpours. That's our cold front. You can see some spots in Wayne County that picked up some rainfall here, and also Lincoln County over the past 6 hours. And in the next few hours, here's where we're going. We just see a couple of cells still just kind of rambling around south of I-64. They're not severe. They're just a nuisance. But as far as tomorrow, that's where we see the cells still cooking in the afternoon from I-64 to the south. So this is at 2:30 in the afternoon tomorrow. Let's roll it into the late portion of the evening. Now you still see 1 or 2 cells. Then it quiets down. Everybody else north of there is going to be hot. On Thursday, we start with the storms south of I-64. They really pick up in intensity 4, 5, 6 o'clock. That's round 1. Then there's another round real late with heavy rain in the southern counties. And there you can see the newest look at rainfall. The deep green is anywhere over 1/2 of an inch between now and Saturday. And then the yellows start to hop up into 1 to 2 inches. And you can see it's really focused on the southern counties. That's just the way the pattern's going to go. Let me get out of the way of this one here. Just waiting, watching. There's a 90% chance this thing becomes a tropical storm out in the Atlantic. Still days and days away, getting spun around the south side of that high. Then it'll take a curve on up toward the United States. And you see the name that's going to be the letter I storm. And of course, the names are not just American names. They're given from all the different nations in the Atlantic basin. So this one, once it gets the letter I, name will be called Isaias. That's the name, and we'll continue to watch that. That might become tropical storm or hurricane. And this would be moving its way toward the Florida coastline. At some point, each one of those lines is a weather model, so we'll keep an eye on that. That's a long way down the road, but certainly something to watch. So 90 for tomorrow and 85 for Thursday, and you saw the storm south late Thursday, mainly southern counties Friday, Saturday, and you'll note that the temperatures are in the 80s. We'll take that. That beats the 90s, and some scattered storms out here as well. Still on Sunday, Monday, and 1 or 2 on Tuesday. That is not to say that it's going to rain or flood, but we'll certainly, it's going to rain, but not to say it will flood. We'll certainly keep an eye on that for you and keep you updated here. But right now, during the 9 o'clock hour, just a small number, 3 or 4 little showers in southern West Virginia and southeast Kentucky.
And you know, I love to always remind Spencer, if you haven't yet, download your Storm Tracker 13 weather app. You'll get a notification on your phone before the storm finds you. And that's all for 13 News Now. Thanks so much for joining us this evening. And make sure you tune back in tonight at 11. We'll be, of course, bringing you 13 News at 11 right back on WOWK. Have a great night.